You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Welcome to Public Health Entrepreneurs. This is the podcast for visionary leaders who are ready to transform public health and healthcare or other industries through innovation. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and as a public health entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in healthcare and public health, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that come with bridging multiple disciplines and building businesses that create healthier communities. That's why I focus this podcast on all of you who are really focused and working at this intersection where public health overlaps so many other industries. On this episode, I have a question for you. I really want to hear from you, so it's a short and sweet one. I have an idea. I would love for us to have a networking event, a virtual networking event. I would love for it to be in person, but I know that would be very difficult with all of us spread across so many states and even different countries. But because I want to do this rather quickly, before the end of the year would be ideal, or at the very beginning of the new year would be, I guess, my second best option. But it would be wonderful to have a networking event where we could come together, turn our cameras on and just introduce ourselves, get to know each other. One of the things I love to do when I lead my mastermind groups is the elevator pitch. How are you introducing yourself, when you're meeting people in different scenarios, and being able to practice that. So I'm not trying to do any coaching during our networking event, but I think it would be a fun activity for us to go around the virtual room and introduce ourselves and have just, a few minutes to say who you are and what you do and who you serve. It's a great way for us to get to know each other. We can engage in a few activities that help kind of share how we got to where we are. And I think that's a great way to meet some other people and to simply get to know what other people are doing. It's very reassuring. This journey as an entrepreneur, if you haven't noticed already, you will notice that it can feel a little lonely sometimes. So a networking event, even as a virtual event, can be a great way to connect with other people who are just like you or very similar spaces on the path. We may be all different in terms of how many years we've been in business, but we're on this similar journey. So I think that that's reassuring. So it's a great time to meet some new people, engage and let people know what you do, broaden your network, and explore some of the possibilities of not so much working together, but just how you may meet someone in a networking event like that and then you like them and you continue to follow each other and connect maybe on LinkedIn outside of our event. And I've known a lot of really long-term friendships and business relationships that have stemmed from networking events like this. And I've got a few people in my own networking circle that, our relationship started out an event just like this. And then over the years, we've been able to meet in person, and it's just a great possibility. So I'm thinking it would be so much fun to bring together people who listen to this podcast, other public health entrepreneurs. Maybe you are in a different industry. You're not sure if it's actually public health. That's okay. If you're listening to this podcast and you're getting value from it, then I would invite you to come. I think it would be really great to see what you're doing. It's probably something health focused if you're listening to this podcast, but I would love to meet with you. I'd love to engage and get to know the people who are listening to this podcast. When I started podcasting 8 years ago with my first podcast, one of the best things I did was connecting with my community early on. And some of those relationships continued to foster and grow even 8 years in. So I would love to connect with the people who are listening to this podcast. So here's what I want you to do. In the description area for this episode, you will find a link to a form. It's an intake form. It's like an application. It's a simple form. You can just express whether you're interested or not. And then we'll ask you maybe just a couple of questions. But I just want to know who's interested, and I'll get your information so that if enough people are interested, I would absolutely do this. And like I said, I would love for it to be in December. So maybe I haven't created the form yet. So maybe by the time this episode is out, the form may have some potential dates just so that you can let us know, give us an idea of your availability so that we can pick a time that if you are interested, we want to make sure that you're able to come. So now that I'm talking that out, I will do that. We'll narrow down a couple of dates and then we'll try to gauge availability. Now, if we don't get responses, then we just won't do it. Of course, I'm not going to set up a networking event if you're not interested and if you don't respond. So that's the big thing. And I'm making it as easy as possible. In your app that you're listening to the podcast now, you can simply look in the description. There'll be a link to click and fill out the form, and I'll keep it super short. Maybe, just a couple of questions. I need to get your follow-up information, just yes or no if you're interested. And then a quick check on availability is all we need for right now. And we'll follow up and let you know if we have enough people who are interested in what dates we decide to do this. And I guess just so you also know, if depending on what you're doing and how you're listening to this podcast, you can also go to the show notes. The link will be on the show notes. So publichealthentrepreneurs.com. And on the podcast tab, you can find this episode in the show notes. It's another way to get to the form. But I think the easiest is going to be right there in the app you're listening to in the description. Just click that. It'll take you to the form, fill it out, and we will follow up with you. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping that enough of you are going to be interested that we can do something like this. All right. As always, you can reach out to us directly with any questions or comments at publichealthentrepreneurs.com. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.